Close makes $800,000 plus every month as a SaaS company. In this video, I'm going to break down the entire GTM funnel. So let's jump straight to it. Now, when it comes to their funnel, Close fundamentally uses a three-pillar strategy. They generate traffic, from there they generate the leads, and from there they convert to demos. Now, some quick facts about Close. The category is they are a SaaS in the CRM as well as sales automation category. They're built specifically for sales team and startups, and there's strong leniency towards anti-bloat CRM. I'll elaborate that in just a moment. Now, a few company facts. They're founded in the US. They actually bootstrapped most of their journey, except for later they actually went through some Series A funding. Their core markets are US, European Union, as well as some remote regions in Southeast Asia. In terms of the traction and revenue, they have thousands of paying B2B customers. The estimated annual recurring revenue is anywhere between US dollars 5 to 50 million. The estimated monthly recurring revenue is anywhere between 400 to 1.2, and the pricing starts anywhere between $99 to $150 per user per month. Now, in terms of the traffic, they get roughly monthly visitors estimated between 120 to 300,000. The primary driver for traffic is actually SEO. I'll break that down in just a moment. And the main GTM strategy, with that being said, is SEO and content to a high intent to free trial and demo, as well as sales assisted conversion, expansion via seed growth, and we will talk about this also in just a moment. Now let's literally jump straight to the visuals of how the GTM is basically broken down. So upon analyzation and reverse engineering, their primary driver seems to be SEO. When I did a quick SEO scoring audit, they seem to score quite high, upper A's as you can see. And even if you Google sales CRM, whoops, I wrote CRM twice here. Upon Googling sales CRM, they're actually at the very top, as you can see here. What I like about most regarding their GTM strategy is actually their LinkedIn. As you can see, they have around 24,000 followers on LinkedIn, which means they have quite the good amount of traction. What I like more is that their content is not, the boring, generic talking about the features, the dashboards. They actually try to encapsulate some elements of humor, as you can see, and they also have a few talking head videos. Now, perhaps one area of LinkedIn where they did not include was the founder-led as well as the employee-led content. Because as you guys know from my YouTube channel, when I basically break down other SaaS funnels, a lot of the SaaS companies use founder-led as well as employee-led content. Now, if you don't know what that is, I made an entire video talking about this. But the reason why I'm a huge fan of it is because founder-led as well as employee-led content tends to just perform much better than the company pages on LinkedIn. But more to that later. Now, Meta, they don't seem to run any Meta ads. Yes, they do have a Meta account, Facebook and Instagram account, but they're just not so active when it actually comes to posting, as you can see. What they do have is a YouTube channel with 28,000 subscribers, which is actually a lot. In their YouTube video, they have a lot of short form as well as long form content where they talk about the topics which mainly encompasses the pain points of their ICPs, which is their customer demographics. And so you can actually watch the videos and understand more of what they are trying to solve in the market. And so from these from these three sources, they're basically directed towards the landing page. And now most SaaS companies use the landing page to convert. Quite rarely you have a VSL. VSL is more for like e-commerce and content creators. So quite typically a SaaS company will redirect most of their traffic into their landing page. And so from the landing page, upon clicking on it, you can see that they have directly visuals about the dashboards, how their software looks like, the features of their software, as well as a CTA, a call to action, giving you two options to either start a free trial or book a demo. Now, there are two differences upon that. Now, I'll talk about that later. But what I also realized upon clicking on the website is they have a lot of webinars. Now, webinars is a good way to garnish attraction, because especially if your ICP is in a industry, right, for them is sales and CRM, where the ICP is not so knowledgeable. Webinar is actually a good way to explain and talk about the topics, to educate your audience, so that once they understand that their pain points and problems actually exist, they can use the webinar to redirect them back to the landing page to eventually convert them to one of these two. And now, webinars is a fantastic channel. However, webinars is not really a primary source of getting traffic, because in order for you to generate traffic, you need in order for you to actually end up being into your webinar, you need another sales channel for them to actually hear or know about your webinar. Now, once they have went through the landing page, right, the CTA prompts you on two decisions. Now, either you can start a free trial. And so if you start a free trial, you actually don't need a credit card, which is a good thing for clients and customers. So basically, you just make an account, and then from there you can actually click your way through the dashboard. And now, if you click through the dashboard and for some reason you don't like what you see, or the demo wasn't good, well, get ready of a wave of email marketing sequences. And these email marketing sequences happen because the moment you actually book a trial and a demo, you basically are categorized as a warm lead. And so even though you don't put in your credit card details, you basically create an account, right? And from your account, you basically key in your email as well as phone number. And so you are categorized as a warm lead because you do show interest in the platform. It's just for whatever reason, you just don't like it over time, and so you consider a warm lead. And then there's going to be a wave of email marketing, and most likely they are going to redirect you either A, back to the landing page, or B, most likely to the webinar to further educate and inform you of what it basically is all about. And so not only that, but if you actually go through the free trial, you are experiencing something known as a product lead growth. And so product lead growth in a nutshell is basically when users trial or demo your platform, and then by using that platform they actually provide feedback, right, towards the designers, towards towards the company and developers. And you don't explicitly provide them feedback by writing a feedback, but a lot of SaaS companies, they use so-called heat maps or activity trackers or monitors, and they can see the type of things or features that you click on, what are the areas you don't really use, what is perhaps your most favorite part of the software. And so that feedback actually enriches a specific metric relevant for the developer, so that they know, okay, this is how much we can improve and refine our software so that it will better fit our ICP. Oops. Now, if you don't book a trial, if you are, more interested to talk with a salesperson, you basically fill out this quick form, and from there you literally hop on a sales call with one of their sales rep, one of their SRs. And so the sales call, or basically the call you're gonna have with the sales rep, has the target or has the objective to talk about your pain point, because in sales, there's nothing more important than understanding what your pain point is. And now for a lot of ICPs, especially in SaaS, the customers very often don't understand their pain point. Like, they know it exists, but the sales call aims, like, the salesperson has the objective to literally throw that pain point towards your face, so that you actually realize that your pain is a very determining factor. And because pain is essentially what will make you want to buy the product, right? And so that's literally the main objective of the sales call. And now from these two objectives, or these two areas of trying to use a platform, you will eventually obviously be prompted to choose a package, right? And so the package from Close, there are only three options. You can go for $49 per month per seat, and then there's a growth one, which is obviously more popular, $109 and $149. Now these are around average prices for CRM, in my opinion. But however, they also have upsell options, or basically add-ons, as you can see with premium phone numbers, the AI call assistant, and the additional organization. And at the very bottom, a very cheeky start free trial with close. Right, and so let's do the money math, right? Now that we have the numbers in mind, if they convert from their 200K views they get on their website per month at 5%, we will be basically talking about 10,000 buyers. And let's assume that they choose the lowest package, which is $49. They'll be looking at monthly recurring revenue at around $490,000. Now, 5% is what I like to use as an internal benchmark. My agency focuses on creating a 5% conversion for most GTM funnels. Typically, when you are new to SaaS, or when you just implement your GTM into your SaaS marketing system, you will see like 10%, 12%, but it's a very good number if you aim at 5%, and anything lower than that is just absolutely amazing. Now, the money math for 1 year based on that is 10,000 new monthly users. So basically 10,000 times 49 times 12, we'll be having an annual ARR, recurring revenue, at $5,880,000 per year. And oh, if you didn't buy, well, be ready for a wave of retargeting meta ads campaign, right? And so how that works is basically, if you're not interested, two ways. Number one is the email, as you saw earlier, that's going to happen. But quite typically, if you are not interested after a while, or if you just sign off, they are actually going to use Meta ads as a retargeting campaign. Now, if you want to know how that works, again, I explained that in the GTM system. But basically, there's a specific pixel. You know, when you run Facebook ads, you have to use a tracking pixel. And so that tracking pixel basically remembers the specific activity you have done on the SaaS platform. And with that specific enriched pixel, they'll run a ad literally targeted right at you, talking about the paid points, with the hopes, obviously, in the long run to convert you again. And it's quite simple, right? A very simple 7-figure GTM funnel. But guess what? The crazy news is that they actually don't build or manage these funnels themselves. In fact, most SaaS companies don't manage the GTM funnels themselves. They set it up, but they have an entire GTM team building it and maintaining it, the back end of the business, while they basically focus on the software. Now, that's very typical. And if you are a SaaS founder watching this video and you're interested for having a GTM system to actually build and manage your back end for your business, where you can focus on what's more important, on actually building the software, then do schedule a call with me below. I included that in the YouTube video description. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.